Hi, welcome to the Social Space. I'm Eric Crossland, and now, Jeff, let me ask you, what are the chances in 2023 we see RoboCop join the police force in Wichita Falls?
Well, I'm actually hoping that it's pretty high.
Yeah.
We could use RoboCop.
Yeah.
But the good thing is, you're talking about joining the force in 2023. We are hiring right now for our 2023 Academy. Yeah, you can apply now. So if you know RoboCop, if you do know him, go ahead and have him scan the QR code or go to WFPDnow.com, get that application in. We could use it.
Hey, perfect.
For sure.
For once, the question at the front did something worthwhile.
Yeah.
Hey, that's Jackie Hager over there. Hey, Jackie, how you doing?
I'm good. Always perplexed at the beginning of this show, but good.
Someone told us the other day, he was like, it's good to know that, I explained to him that one of our main editor here just throws a question that I don't get to see beforehand at us that I read here live. And he goes, it'd be good if you told the people that. So there you go. That's what that is. Andrew Bell.
Yes.
How you doing, buddy?
Good.
What tarnation did you do this weekend?
Just played with the girls.
Okay.
That sort of thing. It's
All right.
a pretty relaxing weekend.
All right, that doesn't sound relaxing to me, but. And of course, I'm sure I already put your name up. Jeff Hughes, PIO of the police force. Jeff the Jammer, some might remember you from.
Long time ago. That's a whole nother life. Whole other life ago.
Real quick, we have to thank our sponsors before we get to you, Jeff. That's News Channel 6. We air there at 10:35 Sunday nights. News Talk 1290, part of Town Square Media. They air a Saturday day. That's just the audio version. And Impact Signs at Falls Truck Center. Tanya and Son Choate. Has our faces on the back of those buses. And Jackie, I set them up right this time. They look like the big chocolate eyeballs. Drink and Clink. Brenda Pollard, she makes these wonderful cakes that you will leave with one of these, Jeff. Did you see the front of that? Okay.
Look at there.
And Yvonne gets one too, I guess.
Fancy stuff.
So hey, Jeff, for the people who don't know you, tell us a little bit about yourself. Were you born here, all that stuff? How did you get involved in this active shooter class that we're going to talk about today?
Yeah, I was born and raised here. Went to school here. I actually never left. Fowler, McNeil, Ryder High School, Midwestern State University. I graduated from there in 1994. Stayed here, joined the police force in 1998. Been with the police force now for 25 years. Currently assigned to the community services section of the police department, also PIO, like you mentioned. Love Wichita Falls, man. Love this community. I wouldn't want to do this anywhere else.
You didn't even give a chance for the vortex to pull you back in. You never left. There's a Wichita Falls vortex.
I love this community. I mean, there's no doubt we have a great community. I did media in our community for a little while, so I never left. I never had a desire to leave. Being a police officer here, we see a lot of stuff in the media across the nation, and one of the things that we can definitely say about Wichita Falls and law enforcement is our community supports our law enforcement. Mm-hmm. We love that support. We support them. We support them right back and give them the best that we have. So, I couldn't imagine doing this job anywhere else, and never really saw a reason to leave.
You guys got a great chief out there. That's a big, big part of it.
We do.
Always
great chief and great city admin.
Yeah, sure. So this active shooter class, we had him come here. We had a Chad. We had a Detective Nelson come talk. Show it to us before. How'd you get involved in this?
Well, so the active shooter class that I teach, it's called CRACE. It's Civilian Response to Active Shooter Events. Okay, it's all run through an organization called ALERT out of Texas State University, and ALERT is Advanced Law Enforcement Rapid Response Training. One of the things that when we got to looking at active shooter events that we noticed, especially when you go all the way back to 1999 to Columbine, a lot of things went wrong during that response. But it wasn't law enforcement only necessarily. It also went wrong because there was no training inside the school. The teachers didn't know what to do. The students didn't know what to do. So not only did law enforcement learn a lot from that response to create a better response out of it, but teachers and students and civilians, they need to know what to do because they need to know how to react. Because sometimes, and most of the time, it falls on the people that are in the situation to take safety measures as well. So the thing is with the CRAZE class is we give you the tools to put on your tool belt that will help you survive an active shooter event.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's incredible. Yeah. So why did Wichita Falls start this program and bring it to Wichita Falls? And
so ALERT actually is the gold standard when it comes to active shooter response for law enforcement. All law enforcement really across the country, they look to ALERT for training because it's really important that law enforcement is all on the same page. There are other organizations out there that do teach it, but like I said, Alert is the gold standard. So when Alert said, hey, we want to incorporate a civilian response class, it was a no-brainer.
Yeah.
I mean, we had to do it.
Yeah.
Because it is so important in our community that people know how to respond. It's so important. So we want to give them the tools to teach them how to respond.
Sure.
What to do, what not to do, how to think their way through one of these events. Because really what happens if you're not prepared, fear can take over. And once fear takes over, you're pretty much done. You're not going to be able to respond because as fear escalates, your heart rate starts to escalate. And as your heart rate escalates, your cognitive skills start to go away. I don't know if you guys have ever tried to put a key in a keyhole when you're a little bit stressed. It's hard. So things that are normally simple tasks become very difficult, and you can't really process your way through it. So in this class, we actually call that changing a human brain, which can think and problem solve, to a lizard brain, which is really just very chaotic. And with a lizard brain, they can basically do three things: fight, flight, or freeze. But if your body gets to that point, your brain starts to shut down, and you're not able to process your way through these situations. So it's important to be prepared ahead of time, because the more you're prepared, the higher and the better your chances are for survival and lack of injury.
I was so excited when I heard you were doing this, and it was a really great 2-hour program. I said, we've got to get him on the show. Second thing is, we hear so much about active shooting in the news almost every day.
Right.
I can tell you that every time I go to a movie theater and I sit down, it crosses my mind. Number two, when I go to a concert or a big event, it always crosses my mind.
Right.
So I'm so glad you're here. And we never, or very seldom, do we keep someone on for 2 segments of this show. And I love it that we're keeping you on this show most of the time. So give us a little bit of data across America and why this small community needs to get you booked for a 2-hour active shooter session.
Okay, so if you don't mind, I'm going to answer the second question first.
Got it.
A lot of times we present this to the community and somebody will say, well, you know what, it's not going to happen in Wichita Falls. It's not going to happen to me. And my answer is always, well, it already has happened once in Wichita Falls. We did have it in April of 2010. Right here, we had the Hastings shooting and the Toby shooting. So it has happened here. We can't live like that. We can't live under that umbrella that it's not going to happen to us and it's not going to happen here. In fact, we kind of have to do the opposite. We have to prepare. It's not for if, it's for when, because these things are happening very often. Statistics just across our country. Since the year 2000, from 2000 to 2021, there were 464 active attacks in the United States. 464. That number alone is alarming, right? But here's another alarming number out of that 464. 100 of them have been in the last 2 years alone.
Golly.
Now, we all heard of the Uvalde shooting that happened in May of this year, right? But did you know that Uvalde was the 27th school shooting in the United States this year alone when it happened? Goodness. There had been 26 other school shootings in the United States prior to Uvalde in May.
Jeff, every day when I drive by 3 schools. I'm not kidding. It's like you almost want to say a little prayer. Every time you go by these schools, God, keep these children safe. Yeah. It can happen anywhere. Yeah. So I'm excited for Section 2 when you get in the weeds a little bit and tell us what to do. Yeah. But I think more importantly for those listening, I think if you own a business or a church group or a youth group or an adult group, I don't care who you are, they should book you for a 2-hour session to say, what do we do? Yeah. Because I really honestly, when do I run? When do I freeze? When do I hide? Yeah. I don't know what to do.
Well, and you hit it right on the head. It can happen anywhere at any time. You know, when you take a look at statistics and you look at those 464 active attacks that have happened since the year 2000, 50% of them are places of business.
Say that again?
50% of them are places of business.
Wow.
Because if you're an active attacker, if you're the suspect in one of these and you want to go and your goal is to go out and harm people, you're going to go to where the people are. And that's where most people are, in places of business. They're in malls, they're in shopping centers. You know, they're places like that.
And while you said all of the shootings that have taken place. Can you imagine all of the shootings where there was a tip, where it was avoided?
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
They've thwarted
Then
a
that
few
number,
too, yeah.
oh my gosh, it skyrockets.
Yeah.
I can't wait to dive in to see a few tips today
Absolutely.
on what to do.
We're going to do that in a second segment, and you're
Okay.
going to walk us through some of the class. Is that right?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Okay, well, let's do that. Let's take a
Yeah.
break, and we're going to come right back with Jeff, and he's going to do walk us through the class and what you get if you schedule that 2-hour course. So we'll be right back.
good.
Thanks, Jeff.
Very good.
Medicare can be confusing. That's why it's important to have a locally born and raised expert to help you understand all your options. I'm Colby Pistacco, and I'm ready to serve you. Medicare changes every year, and that's why it's important to review the changes annually. I understand that everyone's needs are different. That's why I work hard to tailor a plan specifically for you, your family, and your lifestyle. That's the Pistacco way, more personal, more thoughtful, and more trusted.
Hi, welcome back to the Social Space segment with Jeff Hughes here. We got Jackie Hager over there, Andrew Bell. I'm still there, Crossland. This is a serious subject today, Jeff. I've got a not as serious question up first.
Okay.
If you're the man of the house and you got to protect people, is there ever a reason to wear flip-flops? Like ever?
Slides, maybe? Flip-flops? I don't know.
I don't know why you did that.
The ones that go between your toes, I'm not sure. But the slides that go over, yeah,
Even
maybe.
if you're running, you don't want flip-flops on, right?
Yeah. Hey, no shoes in the house. So, yeah.
But if you have Crocs, you have the athletic mode where the strap just flips up on the back. So Crocs, maybe.
That's an endorsement for Crocs. All right, Jeff.
All right.
So this active shooter class, people can sign up to our class. A great idea for anybody, business, church group, like you said, Jackie. Will you walk us through that class and just what attendees can expect to leave with?
Yeah, so first and foremost, the purpose of the class is to give them tools to put on their tool belt so they can respond in an active shooter or an active attack type event. What do I do? A lot of people want a cookie cutter answer, and there's not a cookie cutter answer because there's not a cookie cutter situation.
Right.
We could actually what if situations all day long, and I guarantee you, if or when you find yourself in a situation like this, it's not going to be anything that you what if, because you don't know who the suspect is, you don't know what they're after, you don't know what their weapon is, you don't know if there's one or two, you don't know the location. There's too many unknowns to have a cookie cutter answer.
Sure.
But the fact of the matter is what civilians actually need is they need to know how to think their way through the situation to respond appropriately to save their life. For instance, being prepared. There is a huge difference between being prepared and being unprepared.
Yeah.
If you are unprepared, your response is going to be horrible. In fact, if you're unprepared, your response could even cause death or injury. You don't want a wrong response. So you have to be prepared ahead of time. The lack of preparation is devastating. So when you think about it, I'll just ask you a question. When is the best time to know what your choices are for something? It's before it happens.
Sure.
Right? It's before it
Sure.
happens.
Yeah.
So you should know what your choices are before it happens. So anywhere you go, if you go out to eat, you go to a church, you go to a school, you go to somebody's house, you should always be looking for exits. You need to know where those exits are. And even if you have seen the exits in one location, next time you go to that same location, look again, because you're probably going to be sitting somewhere different, or one of those doors may not be functional. There may be a delivery, it could be blocked, it could be broken. So you need to always look, because if something happens, you need to know where to go. Here's the other thing. If something bad happens in a location, in one location, people that don't have a plan, if they are all trying to escape, where are they going to be going? They're going to be going back to the door that they came in. So if everybody's going back to the door that they came in, is that a problem for people that are at the back of the line?
Yeah.
Absolutely. So it's imperative that you know where other exits are. So everywhere you go, you should be looking for exits. The other thing that we do is we prepare the attendees to do the three main things in an active attack, the three choices, and it's avoid, deny access, or defend. It used to be called run, hide, and fight. All right? It's now avoid, deny access, and defend. And that is an order of preference. If something bad is happening in a location, where are you the safest? Outside of that location. So you want to get outside of that location and get away from it. But if you can't, you need to start thinking about, how do I deny access to me? How do I make myself a hard target? How do I keep the bad guy from getting to me? It's by locking doors. It's by turning out lights. It's by barricading doors. It's by doing that stuff. And once you get barricaded and once you have made yourself a hardened target, then you start looking for other ways to escape, other ways to get out if you can. But you have to do that stuff and you have to respond quickly. One thing you can't do is the first stage of disaster response is actually denial. So you can't get stuck in denial, because if you start thinking, was that gunshots or was it a car backfiring? Was it balloons popping? Was it fireworks? If you get into denial, that is wasting time. Guys, I would rather, if you hear something that you think is gunshots, I would rather you treat it as gunshots and it not be gunshots than it to be gunshots and you to be sitting there thinking, I wonder what that was. Let me wait till I hear it again. So you have to go into action immediately. So these are the types of things that we are teaching. The next thing, it's how to defend yourself, that you have to defend yourself if you have to. If you can't get out and you've barricaded yourself and the bad guy ends up getting in, you have to be prepared to fight for your life. But the whole time you're doing that, you also are still looking for ways to get out and get away from that. So, it's going to be fluid, but it's avoid the situation, deny access to you, and defend yourself if you have to.
Goodness.
How do you keep your brain from just staying out of panic mode and into smart mode? Okay,
so that's a very good question. To keep your brain in smart mode, what you actually have to do, is have a plan. Because if you have a plan and you've practiced this stuff and you have thought about where are my exits and you think about that everywhere you go, it becomes habit. So you keep your brain occupied with your plan. But the other thing is you don't let fear overtake your brain. How do you do that? You keep your heart rate down. You shift the emotion. What's the best way to keep your heart rate down? It's medically proven that you can keep your heart rate down simply by breathing. So if you can control your breathing, you're going to be scared. There's no doubt you're going to be scared. You just can't let fear overtake you. So control the breathing, stay as calm as you can, shift your emotion, and stay fit. But the most important thing you can do is script and practice. Businesses, script and practice. Employees, talk to each other. Coworkers, talk to each other. Supervisors, run drills. The same thing with schools and churches. Run drills. Teach your staff, teach everybody around you what to do and what the plan is if something goes wrong.
Jeff, how soon is too soon? Or tell us where the sweet spot is of also teaching this to our kids.
How soon is too soon? As soon as they're born.
Yeah.
As soon as they're born, you start talking to them. You start talking to them. Because one of the girls at Uvalde, one of the 9-year-old girls in the Uvalde shooting, she had the sense, in the heat of the moment, to cover herself with somebody else's blood and play dead to stay alive.
I do remember reading that.
That's information. That is priceless. That's priceless. Somebody had done the right thing with her and taught her, this is what you need to do if something happens. It may not have been specific, but it was something that was in her mind that told her, I have to do something to stay alive. So honestly, it's never too early. It may be too early to tell them to do that specifically, or it may be too early to tell them about how bad situations are, how many people die here, or how many people die there, or whatever. But there are ways you can talk to them. Avoid, deny, defend, run, hide, fight. Things like that. Listen to your teachers. Listen to the officers. Listen to your parents. There are ways that you can talk to them at their age level to give them an idea.
We've been waiting to get you on this show to do this, and if nothing comes out of this show, but anyone listening that is part of a business, part of a church group, part of a school, part of anything, is to call you and get this free 2-hour course booked.
The goal here is to get leaders in our community in case of an event like this, because there's another thing that happens. A lot of times in situations like this, not only does fear overtake them, but there's something that's called the diffusal of responsibility. And what that is everybody knows that something is supposed to be done, but nobody does anything because nobody else does anything. So we need leaders out there in the community to take that lead. And if there's somebody in the community that doesn't know what to do, there are leaders in the community that do know what to do. It's somebody that they can follow to safety.
Awesome. Well, golly, Jeff, we could talk to you about this forever. We're running short on time here. Just how do people get a hold of you to get the class?
The easiest way is to either call me in the office or shoot me an email. My office number is 5019. And my email is jeff.hughes@wfpd.net. They can call me, they can email me, they can get it scheduled. We're booking these all the time. We can do during the day, we can do after hours if they want. So, yeah, we can definitely fit it in.
All right. Well,
Thank you very much, Jeff.
You bet so much,
Wow.
Jeff, and I hope you guys reach out to him. Up next, Ivonne Wineinger, Action Against Opioids. She's here to talk about that wonderful cause there, too. Thanks, Jeff.
You bet.
Right back.
We don't like 102-degree weather, but we're climbing the ladder. We don't prefer hanging out in the crawl space, but we're down there chasing the lead. And we don't like when your AC has problems, but we like to fix them. Just remember, when you need us, we're there. James Lane Air Conditioning and Plumbing.
4 incredible radio stations. That's who we are. We are Town Square Media, and we bring the best of radio to the North Texas area. Wake up early with News Talk 1290. That's us. How about Kelly Raspberry on 92.9 NIN? Yep, that's us. Bringing you the best of country with 102.3 The Bull. That's us. And rocking it all day long with 106.3 The Buzz. That's us. We are Town Square Media, and we're proud to be a sponsor of the Social Space.
Welcome back to the social space. Jackie over there, Andrew over there, and now Hall of Famer, 6 out of 10. What are you now? Yvonne Wineinger.
I lost count.
Yeah. So Yvonne, we got you. If we're going to talk to you about Action Against Opioids, we got you here. Now, Carson, if you just want to flip it over, if we need to talk about the burn shop, we've also got the burn shop over here.
Thank
So
you.
let's go back to Action Against Opioids here. We're going to talk about that.
I wear a lot of hats, so
That's right.
it's okay.
Also co-owner of the Burn Shop. But you are here to talk about Action Against Opioids, the nonprofit that you represent. Yvonne, tell us for the 6th or 7th time about yourself and then your organization.
That's right. I'm Ivonne Wineinger. I'm co-owner of the Burn Shop, and I'm also on the board of directors for an amazing organization, nonprofit here in Wichita Falls called Action Against Opioids.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
It's so cool. So, Yvonne, I know that's a very active group. Tell us a little bit, real quickly, what it does. And you've got this National Opioid Awareness Day coming up. What does that really represent for us?
Okay, so Action Against Opioids, our mission is mainly to create awareness about the misuse and use, period, of opioids and the dangers that come with that. So our goal is to create resources that people can use as they struggle through this crazy epidemic that we're facing in our community and our nation. So we just started, but our goal is to pretty much just bring our community together and eliminate the stigma that comes with opioid use and addiction. Yes.
We should all be so careful about any prescriptions we get. What's
Correct.
the reason behind that prescription, and is it necessary?
That's exactly
You know?
right. So National Opioid Awareness Day is observed September 21st.
Okay.
Yes, and it's marked mainly to create awareness about the effects of opioid use. They reduce the stigma that comes with it, and also acknowledge the grief felt by families and friends. There is so much taboo that people don't like to acknowledge because it's such a sensitive topic. So our goal is to bring that to the light and tell people, it's okay. It's okay to share your story. It's okay to tell us what happened, and it's okay to ask for help. So sometimes it starts really early and we don't realize it. It starts with our teenagers maybe having, with some teeth surgery. And that's how it starts to progress, and we don't want to get to that point. So if we address it right now and we tell people what's going on, because we're brushing it under the rug, then I think that we can make some progress in our community and really make an impact.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, what's something, and thank you for gesturing at me when you said teenager. I'm a little older than that. I know it's confusing.
I don't know sometimes, Eric. I wonder.
What do you think, I don't know, what's something we could do on that day? Do you just want people to be aware of it, maybe just read up on it a little bit? What's something we can do on the 21st to bring awareness?
I think that mainly is just a conscious effort to acknowledge it.
Uh-huh.
Offer support to anybody that you think that has gone through it in any way, shape, or form. If you know somebody, a friend, a family member that has experienced or gone through addiction, gone through rehab, or lost somebody, then acknowledge it that day and say, hey, I'm here for you. No more. The conversation can start there or may not, but just be supportive.
Yep.
There is a lot of people. I run into so many people all the time. Just yesterday, I was at the car dealership running an errand, and the guy just approached me and said, I saw you on the news talking about opioids. I'm a recovered addict. And he just went on and shared his story, and I'm teary-eyed just
That's incredible.
listening to him, how far he's come. And those are the stories that I want to share. Those are the stories that we want to proactively tell the world it can happen, and we're here for you.
So I saw you guys met your goal and passed it on Texoma
my
Gives.
gosh.
Hey, we went
That's
$2 million overall.
man.
We should bring that up today.
We
Texoma
raised
Gives was a rousing.
$11,460 that day, and my heart was so happy. We were blown away by the support that day. So
Congratulations.
if you contributed, thank you so much. Anybody out there that contributed to our cause, we really appreciate it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Awesome. Golly, Ivonne, we're about out of time here. What a great show. We got what was it? 6 time, 7 time, or what?
I don't know.
It's
Anymore.
so many times she can't remember.
I think it's 7 maybe.
You think it's
Hey.
how many? I
8,
can't-
okay. Yeah.
Let's just say it's 8. Tell Jan it's 8.
Always welcome on
There
this
is just
show.
one more thing I want to share,
go
and
ahead.
it's the question that you always ask me. And, if somebody's out there wanting to look for support or resources, call our headquarters office, which is Dr. Sandra Vergara's office. She's the founder of this organization, amazing leader in our community as well. 264-6000. We will do the best we can to lead you to the right place or talk to you, whatever it is, but reach out.
Yep.
All right. Thank you so much, Ivonne.
Yes,
It was
thank you
glad
for
to
having
see
me.
you,
Always
as
a pleasure.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for being here. And we also want to thank Jeff the Jammer, Jeff Hughes over there. And we'll see you guys next week. Thanks.